Learning about economics and how the economy actually works will help you uncover the biggest lies that have ever been told. You're told that the economy is based on these numbers and a lot of systems and math and things that should make sense once you work it out, and that economists should be some of the smartest people because they can actually do economic planning. But the deeper you look into these things, you understand that it's just one big scam. I've been pointing this out for a while. I've seen a lot of headlines coming out saying that the economy is not on the up and up, and things are kind of starting to show a lot of patterns of previous recessions. And the fact that the news media is starting to admit the fact that the economy is not looking great is letting you know that we're kind of in the cusp of something way worse. They're just now starting to admit that the economy is maybe entering a depression given the wars, the stock manipulation, the insane spending to debt ratio that the US has, and just the current global struggles. But if they're calling it a recession, then I think it's not long before we enter depression territory. And that's no surprise to anybody. How do you maintain an economy that's built on fraud, lies, and manipulation? I mean, you really can't do that for too long. Well, you can, and we've been doing it for a while, but at some point, enough people wake up and realize, hey, my money is worth nothing. My quality of life has gone down a lot, and my future is seeming really, really bleak. And there's some people probably watching this video, they're like, Ghost, I just got a brand new M4, I'm getting a brand new apartment, I'm doing great, my stocks are on the up and up. And if that's you, I wish you nothing but the best. I hope that continues for you. But it feels like for the majority of Americans and people across the world, they're not feeling the same things. The K-shaped economy, or a two-tier system, has been taking a lot more of a prominent role in the last 2 to 3 years. I mean, income inequality in America has never really been a new thing. This has been built into the system on purpose. But now that a lot of people are realizing that they're not as well off as they assumed they were in the past, it's starting to hit a lot harder. The tale of two Americas is truly what's happening now. You have people who are honestly doing amazing. They've never been in a better position. And then you have others who may have been in a decent position a few years ago, coming to the realization that they're not middle, they're not upper middle, but they're like scraping the poverty line, staying just afloat to where they don't qualify for any government benefits because they make too much, but they also don't qualify to survive and afford the cost of living, having to take up 2 to 3 extra side gigs on top of their actual career, and they don't have time to actually live life. And for this video, I can't even pretend to feel like I know what that feels like. Luckily for me, I have a strong family base and a lot of support, so even when I'm struggling, I have people there to give me a lending hand. And when I'm in a better position than others, I try to do the same, because in the future that we're heading towards, there's not going to be any large nets of people. It's going to be people who you're close to that help you stay afloat. And for a lot of people, they don't have that. They don't have a stable family. They don't have that many friends. They're living life on the hardest mode imaginable, and it's only getting harder because your money is worth less and less every single day. And when you point out this stark fact to people, they just have so many excuses, especially when it comes to the topic of inflation. Many people will point out that inflation is at 4.2%, and you know what? It has gone up, but it hasn't gone up a lot, and it's only gone up because this war, which will be over soon. Mind you, the war has been going on for months, and it's supposed to have ended 10 times or so now, but that's besides this point. This 4.2% factor for 2026 when it comes to inflation is the first sign of just nonsense. As somebody who does not eat out much and tries to cook everything at home as best as I can, like I maybe will eat out once a month now. I try to be more health conscious. Yes, that's part of it, but it also makes no sense to eat out when McDonald's is $20 to $25 for a basic burger. But even then, the cost of cooking at home is getting to a point to where it's like, we may just have to eat water sandwiches for dinner. I keep coming up against the same issues. It's, do I want to eat something that's quality and not gonna hurt my body, or do I want to save some money and eat something that I'm very questionable on? And as prices in the grocery store continue to climb, on top of gas, on top of almost everything else, it's like you have to make these terrible trade-offs that don't really make sense in the long run. My uncle always said that you'll end up paying for your decisions one way or another. And when it comes to food, it's really scary. It's no secret that America's food quality is trash. In a country that favors portion size over portion quality, the food that you're getting doesn't always react with your body the best. And as I've become more conscious of just the rise in health epidemics in young people my age, I mean, you have 29 and 30-year-olds getting cancer at a higher rate than like seniors. This is very scary stuff. And And when I go to the grocery store, this is the main reason that I opt for the healthier, more expensive options, because a lot of the times I know if I go for that super cheap thing that I'll end up paying for it in a worse way later. But a lot of people, like I said, are not in the same position as me, and they're having to put their health on the line just to survive. On top of eating trash food, they're working more than ever to pay down a credit balance that is unaffordable. And before people do the gaslight argument of,
well, why are they spending so much on their credit? If they were just more fiscal with their money, then they wouldn't have to spend on credit.
This is such a brain dead argument that you hear a lot of times, especially when it's people who are working jobs, not buying things that they can't afford, simply just trying to live, having to use credit to supplement their income because it's hard to find an extra $500 to $600 a month. And everybody just happens to have a credit card in their pocket. I mean, at least for Americans, we're the country built on debt, $40 trillion of debt to be exact. As much as we all hate credit cards and what they do to people, without them, a lot of people would be below the poverty line. The reason that they're staying afloat is because they can access this extra couple $100 to $1,000 every month to stay afloat. And the people who don't have access to that are just gambling their money. Look at the rise of websites like Polymarket, Kalshi, how Robinhood even introduced sports betting under smart contracts, or just the repeated non-stop advertisement for prize picks and stakes that you see all over the internet and even TV. These are the signs of an economy that is completely hopeless. I mean, I don't want to crash. Things are bad now, but if things crash, if bubbles start to burst and the truth starts to seep out in a way that nobody can ignore, the pain that's going to be felt is going to be immense. And I think a lot of people know that, especially the ones at the top, because the actions that are being taken with the economy now seem like they're all made to just extract as much as they can before it tumbles. And if you look everywhere, the signs are pretty obvious. As much as I say it's a good thing that Peter Thiel is leaving, I think that's a sign of things to come in this country. Elon Musk becoming a trillionaire in one of the sneakiest, unheard of ways possible, rewriting the entire rules of the stock market, making his SpaceX IPO open to every single person and their pensions, using his own company to buy his new IPO's stocks. These are all just ways of people extracting the last amount of viability in a system that makes absolutely no sense. I mean, you have nobody being able to find a job, but the stock market hitting record highs almost every other month. Some people say it's all on the back of AI. I call it manipulation. We could go into recession indicators, but there's so many of them. Even on the job topic, scammers don't even scam you with fake links anymore. They just scam you with fake job opportunities. Rajesh isn't even hitting you with the old, hey, I can give you $1 million. Please email me back. He is simply saying, hey, we're hiring a position that pays 18 to 20 hourly, and please reply back with your email so we can send you more info. And people are falling for it because they can't find anything better. The amount of repossessions are at all-time highs. I actually saw someone's car getting repossessed not that long ago. As you guys know, it's the World Cup and I stay in Georgia, so they had this fan experience downtown, and I decided to go and check things out because if the World Cup is here, you might as well see it, right? And as I get in there, have a good time, as I'm leaving, I'm driving back and I see this guy going and towing this car out of a parking spot. I thought maybe they illegally parked there. In Georgia, parking, or I should say in Atlanta, parking is at minimum $20 during an event, at minimum $40. So people don't pay for parking and think that they're going to get away with it. But no, I see the person, the owner of the car, running up to the person saying, "What you doing, man? Put down my car, put down my car." And I overhear the tow truck driver saying, "You're not paying your bill. I'm sorry, man. It's getting repossessed. Don't blame me, blame the company." This is something I've only seen on Instagram Reels and TV. So to see people getting their car repossessed in real time lets me know that, hey, this is becoming so common to the point that it's not hideable. It's not a one-off story. It is becoming a more common issue for the average person. And maybe the person who got their car repossessed could have afforded it if they were able to Klarna pay it and break down the monthly payment into even smaller weekly payments. But all the things that you notice with your own eyes, the numbers, the stats, the unemployment that you see, your friends struggling to survive, none of that will matter, because when it hits Great Depression levels, or when it actually becomes a Great Recession like '08, they'll just redefine the terms. I mean, 2008 should have technically been a depression because it lasted way more than a few months. A recession is a few months. 2008 took 4 years to recover from, or at least see the signs of recovery. A lot of people think that we never recovered from 2008. So whatever is going to come now, whatever has been going on, down has been way past the terms of recession. We might have to make a new term because depression doesn't even sound bad enough. I mean, everybody already has depression. So if the economy gets it, nothing new. And I already know somebody's going to say, you're such a doomer ghost. The economy's actually not that bad. It's probably going to rebound in a little bit. Just give it time. Why? You can't just rush success. And I mean, I'm just not very positive of the economy. Maybe that might make me cynical. Maybe I've seen too many things or have been lied to too many times by the people who are feeding this garbage. But I'm kind of in the camp that thinks that things have to get worse before any change is actually seen. If this system is able to maintain itself in whatever way it's doing now, it gives the people at the top of the ladder plausible deniability on all their actions. From the reckless spending to the open corruption to the gamblification of everything that we own, it lets them ride into the sunset scot-free because the pain is being felt, but it's not being felt enough. And if there was a way around this to where it didn't have to happen, I would opt for it. Maybe AI is the true savior. But given the fact that we don't have the power grid to support AI, we don't have the federal funding to build a power grid strong enough to support AI and regular consumer consumption. And don't forget the fact that the people who own the AI companies are all pretty much psychopaths, some more hidden than the others. You know, Alex Karp tries to hide it. Peter Thiel is openly a psycho. Elon Musk, openly a psycho. Jeff Bezos, just kind of there. Like, I mean, he's probably a psycho too, but he's just not doing as well on that front as the rest of them. And Microsoft, I mean, it's Microsoft. They've always been evil. They had Xbox, but even then, they've tried to make Xbox as evil as possible as long as they own them. It's not a good look. It's definitely not one that makes you feel confident of our economy. A lot of people my age did not have to be adults during the Great Recession, but they knew millennials who were going through it and how hard it was just to land basic needs, just to actually enter adulthood. And a lot of people my age feel like they haven't been able to comfortably enter adulthood. People call it Peter Pan syndrome. And it's been detrimental for a lot of people. They're waiting to take the next major step in their lives, but every time they try to, it feels like they're being pulled down by a system that wants them to become the permanent underclass that they keep talking about. And that's Gen Z. I can't imagine what the people in high school or middle school are going through right now. While they may not be dealing with the same economic hardships because they're pretty young and can't really enter the economy yet, they're having to make a choice about their future in such an uncertain time. Do they go to college that people say is worthless? Or do they go to trades that people say will break their bodies? And on top of that, they're being told, hey, the jobs that are around now are going to be replaced and you're not even going to have a shot at them. As Gen Z, we're seeing a lot of jobs become automated, but with, I guess you call them Gen Alpha, they're not even going to know what working a job is like if things continue at this pace. Now, I kind of have backtracked in how I think about AI. I don't think it'll become this omnipotent job taker. It really can't do as much as they're saying, and maybe that's just hopeful thinking, but at the same time, if AI doesn't live up to the hype that they're saying it will be as this omnipotent truth machine, it's kind of like nuclear weapons where it's mutually assured destruction. If it works out, we're doomed. If it doesn't work out, we're doomed. But in my crazy brain, I think that if it doesn't work out and the economy does pop, then at least at that place, you can get back to a little rationality. You can see what's true, what's manipulated, and what never worked to begin with. Unlike today, where it's all smoke and mirrors, and if you point it out, you're actually seen as crazy because, well, number on chart goes up, so you must be wrong. When in reality, number on chart is bullshit. I don't know. Even with this notion of a second Great Depression or a looming recession, the goal never really changes. You need to learn more skills, upgrade your higher ability, and maybe even start your business. As much as we can talk about how bad the economy is and doom over it all day, I mean, it really is bad. I don't want that to go over anybody's head. The road to success, as much as they try to take it away from you, is still there. It just requires a lot more work. And as I said, upskill, market yourself, and if you're able to, learn a market, enter it, maybe as an entrepreneur. As long-term careers become more of a myth and harder to find, people who are able to monetize themselves and their abilities will survive. This is a very hard adjustment because people are used to working a job. People are not used to creating a job. But if you can learn how to do that, then you will guarantee yourself financial stability in any market. But the stepping stones to get to that point are not easy, and they're going to require a lot. And I know that's not what you want to hear in an economy that doesn't even give you a chance to breathe, but I don't know. Even as bad as things are, it's time to even go harder. As crazy as that is to say, but that is just my thoughts on things. This was really truly inspired by a Costco trip I went on not long ago. I was checking the prices on things and I was just shocked. I mean, every time I go there, I'm shocked because I remember the prices and how they were 2 years ago, 3 years ago, but now it's getting to like unsustainable levels. I don't know. Let me know if you've been seeing the same things down below in the comments. I do read the comments. Is the economy on the up and up, or should we just get used to the two-tier system? And if you haven't already, like and subscribe to join the channel. Every subscription gives my dog a dog treat. And with that being said, thank you for tuning in. Until next time.